Fortnite is always changing. In one update, they added the waterworks emote and it sounded like this. But if you came back a week later, it was secretly different. Nothing is safe, the battle bus, medkits, collabs, but let's rewind a few weeks and look at one of the biggest updates this year. Reviving has never been altered before because it's such a core feature, which is why everyone was surprised when Epic fixed it 6 years later. This made it so that if you cancel by accident, the progress slowly declines instead of resetting. It even applies to rebooting, allowing enemies to take over and steal your progress for their teammates. Not the only recent change either, Fortnite also dropped a huge rework to consumables. Chapter 5 made it so we can now walk while using them, but that also means you can't cancel it. Medkits and shields now work as you apply them, so if you stop, it'll just discard the rest, which a lot of players aren't happy about. And the same goes for Epic deleting tons of skins. When Fortnite was forced to add ratings to creative maps, it meant not all cosmetics were allowed. Any skin that was scary, had guns, or even bullets attached to them were all blocked from experiences rated under 12. Thankfully, Epic heard our complaints and lifted the rules on weapons, unlocking 99% of them again. But with the new restrictions, it doesn't look like they'll ever allow some of the best cosmetics in kids maps again. It wasn't just skins affected by Fortnite's shift in rating, this also meant anyone as young as 3 had to be able to reach the lobby without seeing restricted content. As a result, the main key art had to be changed, removing all weapons. So, when you open the game, instead of seeing Jonesy fighting on a train, you got this nerf version instead. Even the launcher icon got updated. And if you thought that's the end of Fortnite's new changes, then you've probably forgotten about the UI. Epic has been updating everything from the lobby to the shop and now even the locker. The community hasn't been too happy about the updates, especially since Discovery has so many problems. Thankfully, Epic is listening and working on some adjustments, but it doesn't look like we'll ever see the classic layouts again. I feel like sometimes they just like to remove fun. The icon emotes are usually viral TikTok dances or iconic memes like the Maya He emote. It was based on an old YouTube video called Numa Numa, but the description was originally a great reference until they changed it. Right before release, it was switched to a boring old sentence. I mean, come on, Epic. That's not even the worst update they've given an emote. Back in 2018, the rocket spinner was leaked and one of the craziest we had seen, literally giving you a flying platform. Everyone was hyped to buy it, but when it dropped, it had secretly changed to a hologram. Back then, Epic worried about cosmetics looking like real items or weapons, so they made everything holographic. Fast forward to this year, and we have emotes like this, so maybe we'll get the old version one day. Although there's no chance for old vehicles. Cars like the sedan will likely never come back now that we have customizable cars. Epic gave us a whole new section in the locker to choose a vehicle body, paint, and decals, so whenever you hop in a Whiplash, it'll transform into your custom car. It seems pretty cool, but this means they can never take this away, so we'll forever be stuck with the Whiplash and probably never see things like the normal sedan again. It's not just cars getting a redesign, it's also a bunch of outfits. Before skins arrive in game, Epic has concepts made by artists and then released in surveys, but sometimes when they reach the shop, they'll be unrecognizable. Sometimes skins get little adjustments, but usually not completely changed, like Paxton Price, Holly, and even Coordinate Talus. I mean, it's basically a different skin. One feature you could count on never getting changed again has been with us for 2 years. Mantling was added all the way back with Zero Build in Chapter 3, and it hasn't been updated since. Now you'd think they'd take it away at some point, but considering we went back to Fortnite OG and it was still enabled, it looks like the feature is here to stay. Not all rarities are set in stone. Occasionally, Epic updates cosmetics over time to adjust the price or make corrections. But one of the strangest ones is a simple 200 V-Buck emote. Of course, I'm talking about Snap. It used to be uncommon and even had its own Easter egg with Thanos, but people loved it so much, Fortnite had to convert it to the Marvel rarity. Then they sold it alongside the skin, which was perfect. At least it doesn't affect the gameplay, unlike Vehicle Fuel. Originally, this was added to cars with the Joyride update, and it wasn't too bad until Epic took things way too far, making it required for everything. Boats, quad crashers, even choppas need to be fueled up. Just imagine parking a plane in a gas station. The worst part, most of them ate fuel, so you can barely travel the map before running empty. Now there was one change so long ago that most players never got to see it. Getting a win is great, but the screen used to look like this until Season 5, adding the new slow-mo and animated Victory Royale sign forever. Epic hasn't touched it since, but I don't blame them, some parts of Fortnite are just too iconic to change. They had no hesitation to ruin a pair of skins back in 2019 when players realized the toy soldier set was pay to win. These guys can blend perfectly into grass and rocks, going viral for enemies walking straight past them. Eventually, Epic had to step in, covering them in mud and making them much darker. But with 4 years of evolution from the cartoony graphics, people want to see the original styles back. I just don't know how I feel about it. One update that everyone forgets about is an item we have every game, the pickaxe. For half of Chapter 1, these only did 10 damage, meaning it would take a lot of swings to beat someone down. Eventually, they became useless as weapons with player skill increasing, so they got updated with double the damage, being able to elim someone in only 5 hits. While most updates happen instantly, sometimes you'll see changes to the game slowly happen over time, and perhaps the biggest example of this is skin rarities. Back in 2018, simple outfits like Raptor were deemed legendary status and were 2,000 V-Bucks. As the seasons passed, Epic got better at skin design, and it took a lot for a skin to be legendary, including edit styles, built-in emotes, or an insane outfit. Fast forward to 2024, and we haven't had an original one release in 3 years. But you can't expect to see a legendary car drop any day now. We've already had items ported over from Rocket League, and with more League cars on the way, one thing's for sure, collab vehicles are over. We saw the Ferrari once, but now they're just a skin for the Whiplash with no effect on gameplay. One change that almost nobody has noticed is the lack of original dances. When the game started, they remade popular songs and dances with original music. But since Fortnite blew up and had multiple court cases over this, they decided to just license the real thing to make icon emotes, leaving the days of parody dances behind. Not the only insane change, because Fortnite once released an R-rated song. Fishy Flourish was a brand new dance for Fish Stick. It even came with its own music pack. But when it dropped, people noticed one line. Okay, it was definitely strange. So it took Epic no time to notice, and it was already changed in the next update. One thing Epic will never go back on is the most successful part of the Battle Pass, collabs. Since Chapter 2 introduced Deadpool, we've had at least one collab in every pass since then, from Iron Man and Darth Vader to Optimus Prime and Peter Griffin. And the community still can't get over the decision to make chapters end every year. Instead of spending 8 or 10 seasons on a single map, we are only given 4 before the whole thing is obliterated or lost to time. It has players feeling no connection to each chapter and their islands, but it looks like there's no turning back now. Although, we are still able to hear the old audio from Make It Rain. Right before the emote release, Epic changed the music from to this. One change that will forever alter Fortnite's history was all down to Donald himself. The 7 were originally planned to be alternate versions of each other from different realities, with the second introduced as Visitor Volta. Well, all of that changed when he was renamed to the Scientist, and every member was a completely different person, which, if you ask me, sounds like the right choice. The entire story could have been different. Kind of like the new movement animations that left a lot of players frustrated. We were all taken back by the change when we dropped in for the first time, with everything being slower and looking a lot more realistic. Turns out they were working on this for over a year, so there wasn't any turning back. Instead, they fixed the speed, making it faster again, but keeping the new animations for good. And the same goes for the design of the battle bus. Since the beginning, it's always been iconic, but it used to be a boring model with no movement. In fact, the most interesting appearance was the crashed bus in Chapter 1. We love this place and wanted to see more use out of Fortnite's most famous vehicle. Thankfully, Epic updated it over time, giving us a refined model every chapter. However, after the return to OG, it is guaranteed we'll never see the truly original bus ever again. When Rocket League vehicles first dropped in the shop, the prices were crazy, over 4,000 V-Bucks for a single car. With enough feedback from the fans, Epic was persuaded to change them, reducing the prices by almost half. Even OG Fortnite had some features missing when the season arrived, making a lot of players feel like it wasn't the true experience. From tilted towers missing an entire building to quad crashers not flying, it felt weird. The strangest one has got to be Epic using the Chapter 2 pump model, even after they showed the OG version in the yard. Why you gotta mess with us like that? 28 things changed in Fortnite. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.